Now, what are we looking at here? I mean, the captain, he's been hitting the dick, getting thrown out, not wearing a box. Ollie Robinson's wearing speed dealers, balance him off because he's tired. There's two spinners who aren't spinners who have taken the most wickets. In a pink ball test match, what are we looking at here, England? What are we looking at here, Australia? You know what we're looking at. 5-0, fuck off. Welcome back to The Great Cricketer, brought to you by ASKO, India's leading digital insurance company. My name is Ian Higgins, and Sam Perry sits in a different room to me, but he's excited. He's fucking cock-a-hoop because Mitchell Starc just took the last wicket from the last ball of the day, and that's a done deal.
Oh, mate, the whole family here is just drinking it in, 10:30 p.m. local time here in Melbourne. Starc nicks off route, their last chance, if you will. I've actually had to exit the celebrations in the house. Mate, we'll be going long into the night. My wife, my 3-year-old, my 1-year-old. Yep. It's party central, as they'd say at Channel 7.
That's right. Mate, there was streamers going on down here. There was actually a silent disco walked past. They were just listening to the radio commentary. Mate, there was fucking flares going off. It's a whole thing. I had to, the Christmas crackers, I actually bust a couple of open. I live by myself, so I was actually just doing it by myself. But, that's just, if you take 4 wickets when the, team's chasing a meager 468, what am I going to do? Not celebrate that? Okay. Today's great explainer, Pez. That's Village. Mate. Okay, let's just get into the first thing today. Joe Root's testicles.
Good.
Because that's kind of... Is anything more representative of these Ashes so far than the England captain, their only good player, going down before the game? We're talking abdomens, we're talking now penises, we're talking testicles. Wallet and watch. And I don't know if there's any more perfect sort of rounding out of what this series has been so far than that. But he came back, but then at the end, just before he got hit again, and he's crumpled over, and we're all trying not to laugh, but the pain was so apparent, and it was just kind of, I wasn't laughing at his pain, I was laughing at the absurdity of this entire series. And there's fucking Omicron in the background, which is sort of lingering. I've still got Josh Butler's sad eyes in my head. All of it feels surreal, and we've all been building towards this big series, the crescendo of the year, just make it to the Ashes, and then we're just watching this shit, and, Ollie Robinson's having a roll because he wants to get paid. He could bowl some meds, sure, but I want to get paid this test match. Just roll out a couple of offies, get through the overs. Did you enjoy the day's play?
I was just going to ask you how you're feeling, generally.
Is everything okay?
Because you talk about crescendos, I mean... It's one of the all-time crescendos for you this series, I think. Joe Root's testicles. Yeah, they initially reported that he'd been hit in the abdomen. Why did they say that? Yeah. Why say abdomen? I mean, if you're going to be adults,
let's be adults here.
Euphemistic about it, wouldn't you go closer to groin? Like it... their on-field tactics have been conservative and cautious, and now their media relations language is reflecting that as well. Unnecessary. Dick. Hitting the balls. There is a difference.
Yep. Cock shot.
He had that grimace, he goes, upon the second blow. He had that grimace, that specific grimace. It's one of two things. It's either your dad's just told you to retire from playing cricket, and that also he doesn't know who you play for. Or you've been subject to a cock shot. And I wonder whether the one in the morning here goes, because we're talking about Joe Root's testicles.
That's right.
I was curious as to how the one in the morning manifested, because let's face it, 97.4% of our audience will know what I'm talking about. But sometimes it's the lighter blows that do the most damage, I wondered if he was actually doing some tennis ball work, working on his pull shot, because a light blow of a tennis ball just lightly striking the testy can do enormous damage. Just a little pop onto those testes there.
Yeah, that's right. A little pop on the testes, mate. It actually reminds me, when I was a kid, I got hit in the eye. This was just before the age where you start wearing helmets. and a ball was thrown and the keeper missed and it hit me in the eye. And then I went to go see the doctor and he was saying like it's actually a cricket ball is not so bad. A squash ball is the worst because it can compress.
Thank you.
And it's the same thing with the cock shot. Yeah, we had a question on Patreon this week, patreon.com/cricketer, about a guy who got, he was hit on the dick, but his dick was so big that it pinned against his leg, and that's a compression issue which you can sort out with some bandaging, maybe some skins. Other products are available, but a tennis ball. You're right, mate. I think you're right. Compression against a tessie there compounds the pain.
So then he gets he gets just sitting there tossed up. He gets actually no, I'll say that later. For the second one.
Okay.
Oh, someone said I'll offer to show you Tim Payne's dick pic, and I just said no thanks. Anyway,
what?
Yeah, I don't know. You'll get all sorts on DMs. People will understand.
Right.
So with the second one, Joe Root's second cock shot. I thought it was good that there was a dignified wait before we laughed at the injury to his dick, because he was crumpled and everybody knew the story. Yeah. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the injury to his testicles and what that may mean. And I think the players reflected that. And then the jokes started. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the only way It's the only way we can deal with dick injuries, really.
That's right. I think you're entirely right to call it a dignified wait. It was dignified.
It was dignified.
Time was allowed.
Time was allowed, and that was correct. And that just shows the spirit that this series is being played in between both sides. But
that's right, mate.
But as I was watching the Channel 7 commentary, where they started doing slow-mos of him running between the wickets, and Simon Kadich literally lost it. He has such a great laugh, Simon Kadich. I thought, I've seen this run before, and you know what it was? It was young Forrest Gump running in his polio braces. That's what Joe Root looked like.
That's right. Yeah, he had the old polio braces on.
you know what it's like. He's young Forrest.
Everyone knows that feeling. Oh, you got your little polio braces on there, I see.
Yeah. And then the denouement. He just nicked off to Stark, became the last ball of the day, but let's just call it the last ball of the day. I was holding a candle. I was holding a flame for Joe Root. Sure. Something amazing, But we've also worked out how to get Joe Root out. He's really susceptible to balls that are perfectly angled in towards off stump and then move away. That's all. He's got
a real weakness there.
It's the only way you can get him out is angle in and then just move it away. Either seam or swing, it's all good. But if you can just get him thinking it's hitting off bail and it just moves,
yeah. That's right. And if you bowl it in between sort of 142 and 147, that he doesn't like it in that sort of bracket. He does
not like it there and at that pace.
Mate, I know it's different, but it's similar in a way to like Steve Smith's weaknesses, like balls that are at him at his armpit. I can't think of a single player in history who's ever played well, like better than what they usually do, including Bradman, when the ball is like basically at their armpit. Like no one, you can do it to everyone, and he just gets them out. It feels like a cheat code, anyway. But mate, the whole day as well. We're still in the Joe Root thing,
right?
Because it's like kind of the side story. But like at the beginning of the day, there was the BBC and the ABC radio comms team they couldn't go to the ground. They had to isolate because there's a COVID case now from the touring party within the media. So this story breaks out. This is in the context of like NBA games being postponed. NFL games this week were postponed as well. There's a whole round of Premier League games which won't be played. Although I think Liverpool and Tottenham playing today, which again feels weird. But this is all in the context of like, are we actually going to play all 5 games here? Because Omicron's fucking kicking off. Anyway, this isn't a political show this time. But yeah, mate, and then Ollie Robinson's just fucking bowling some offies because he's bowling a bit of declaration bowling. And like the bowling itself was fine. Like, and I know he's bowled that in county championship. He's bowled like 40, 50 overs in county championship bowling that. It wasn't the bad bowling. It was the absurdity of the entire operation where like Jack Leach isn't playing. They're trying to get through the overs. He's a medium pacer and he's bowled really well this series. Joe Root's off the field because he's even hitting the dick. The entire thing was so fucking village. Again, in the context of like been planning for years for this series, how do we get into this series in Australia? It's a tough place to go. How do we win a game here? Well, fuck me, it's not this.
Well,
Anyway.
here goes, just on Ollie Robinson. Can we move that to
Yeah.
the second thing? Australia score quick runs.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Sure.
mate, like the thing about Ollie Robinson is that, like, I mean, firstly, make no mistake. You know, this was a second grade quick bowling offies in the third net against fifth graders because he's injured and playing as a bat. And like,
Make no mistake.
and as you said, the bowling was decent, and it actually just served to, you know, from a pure tactical, cool perspective, it just underlined that they needed a spinner for this game. But like, England needs to stop providing us with these overt symbols of mediocrity. Like, it's actually it's a comms issue now for England. You know, you may be able to say, we just needed to get through the overs so we can get paid and all that sort of stuff. Mate, can you imagine fucking us ever allowing Josh Hazelwood to do that? Just on the basis of dignity for his craft alone.
Mate,
you know,
exactly.
like, do not
agreed.
reduce the seam up merchant to this kind of gear. And Ollie Robinson made it worse and funnier by wearing sunnies. And I'll tell you why. It's the same as Joe Root.
It's a piss take.
Man getting hit in balls. Like, this is now becoming like, what every day, he goes, of this series, every day at the end of the day, somebody invariably says, no, this was the worst day of the series. And the argument for today being the worst day of the series is that England truly became a meme. They did now 2 or 3 things in this game today that was truly memeable stuff. You know? What is Hobart going to look like? Do you know what I mean?
Mate, 100%. 100%, man. These guys look, to me, they look fucking cooked. They're going to say all the right things. We believe we're still in the series. We believe we can win the next game. You have to say that. These are pro athletes. And you know what? They probably do believe that in part. But, mate, you can see it in the fucking body language. Their entire... Basically from the first ball of the series, like their fielding has been off. The catches, mate. Just the fact that they're buying this many no balls, like the sheer farce that this series is becoming, just by buying the amount of no balls, you fucking can't cop it. Like, and then the coach says, you know, when Burns gets bowled, okay, we planned for this, we expected this. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, the whole series is becoming fucking null and void all of a sudden. It's actually a smart play. If they know they're going to lose, it's like, let's turn this into a piss take because this doesn't really count.
Mate, today was declaration runs with Ollie Robinson. It was fucking county championship shit. We're not used to it out here that much. Like, you know, I'm disappointed for you mainly because like the like sledging England thing and the like, you know, the smug boorish Aussie is a bit, you know, and now it's kind of like, are you guys serious? You're not matching us. I mean, look, let's wait for it to rain in Adelaide tomorrow, or someone does something and then they just sort of somehow it's still 1-0 going into Melbourne and we're freaking out. But
Ollie Robinson scores 165 not out tomorrow. Fucking hell. Yeah. Couple little caveats.
Couple of parentheses.
Protect yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
But yeah, mate. So then, you know, from the Aussie perspective, Harry, no good. I think they'll keep playing.
Yeah, is that the end?
No, because I think they want to give him time. They honestly want to be able to say that he's had a series to prove himself, and I do feel like we're watching something that is consistent with what everybody is saying. I'm not sure what's inside of there that we're missing, but you never know. He might get into a flatty in Melbourne. Marnus 50, looks scratchy, but 50. Travis Head, probably the innings of the bunch. Breezy 50 himself. That was good to watch. Our big Bambi, 33 not. Still didn't look that fluent, but 33 not. That's good. Stark
Smith
19.
Smith got a really weird innings. Like Smith had a really odd innings. He was out 7 times before he fucking got out. Yeah, but he was batting. He was shadow batting at 1 a.m. in his hotel when his wife was filming. While she was watching Seinfeld again. Good gear. I'm happy with that.
Mate, there's something safe about it. I mean, I like watching the sort of twilight years of a player's career, and Smith is by no means there. But I've said this many, many times. It's going to be a good watch. Once his eyes go, mate. I'm not trivializing OCD, but some of those traits could just be absolutely through the roof. The ghosts of unrealized strokes. Anyway, look it up, Professor John Sutton.
mate, towards the end, he's going to be turning light switches on and off for fucking for days just to get off the mark. Yeah, and mate, and another one.
Trying to trivialise it.
No, I know. I'm sorry, but it was right there.
But it's there.
No one had to say that. Yeah, no one had to say that.
Just to get off the mark. Yeah, what does he do though? Does he? He turns it on to get off the marks, but he's at the crease.
If he's playing day-night tests, he has to go around the back to for the actual lights for the ground. He just turns them on.
And they take a while.
I presume it's just one switch, yeah. And then he has to walk on the field left foot first, and yeah, again, not trivialising it. Mate, Milan and Root took 2 wickets each. Spinning deck, Lions run really well. Mate, it's fucking this thing is just fucking an absolute piss take. Should we get into the third thing?
Yeah.
And now we wait. Hasiba Mead was the 49th duck this year. 54 is the record that we're all holding out for. Root got stuck out in turned out to be last ball of the day. Mate, and this is part of the thing as well. Like, Australia's bowlers are just better. All of Australia's batters are better, bar Root. But, what they did was, on that last ball, Stark moved Warner from second slip and he put him at leg slip. He'd just been hitting the dick. He's running weird. It's late. Fuck facing Mitchell Stark any time of day. Pink ball. See you later. And he sets him up nice. He's got a bat pad. He's got a leg slip. He's taken leg slip from second slip. Now there's this one slip. And then he bowls a sucker ball and Root pushes that and he nicks him. But if that same ball is bowled at a fucking 132 Ks, I reckon Marnus is probably leaving it, or Steve Smith, or whatever, and again, Hasiba Mead was another one where, he got done with a little bit of extra bounce from Richardson, but if you're bowling at 140 Ks, he's forced to make that decision. He doesn't need to play in it when you look at real time, but this is what happens. Mate, the fast that this series is becoming, there's going to be a whole squad of players that are just going to be burnt out by ever going to Australia again. And I don't know what they do if they bring in Zach Crawley, for instance, or they bring in Bairstow, who I think is probably going to score more runs than Ollie Pope, for instance. But they know that Bairstow doesn't work in Test cricket. So what do they do him? This is probably a broader conversation for maybe the main podcast, but, we're now watching, what do they need? They need 386 tomorrow, whatever the fuck. Australia needs 6 wickets. It's probably mate, the way they're batting, it could be fucking 10 overs. But it's probably a session tomorrow and then we wrap it up. But I'm not sure what is there anything to look forward to tomorrow?
Well, I think praise to Mitch Stark, who's bowled really well this second innings, and to Nathan Lyon as well. I think that they've carried the can as the leaders of the attack and all that kind of gear. I don't really know. I think it's we're just waiting for the inevitable tomorrow. There's always a half partnership with these things, and you always wonder, and then there's a check of the weather and all that kind of gear. I think in the past, I think Australia in the 4th innings or the 3rd innings can look quite samey, and the attack can get a little bit benign. But the thing mitigating against that tomorrow is that, firstly, there's the pink ball, so it gets dark, so naturally some shit happens if someone is starting to bat well. And secondly and mainly, Lions ragging it, and so there's nowhere to hide. So sometimes, we've watched Lyon bowl before, and he might have men under the lid, but it all looks quite easy. But he's getting the ball to really grip. And there's enough balls that are beating both sides of the bat. So I'm not really sure what England can do. There's just too much time. I think just lay down and die.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to say as well, we haven't got to talk about Joss Butler's weird day, which was sort of in the first session. It feels weird to talk about it now, but the catch that he took off Harris, I know he dropped one off Steve Smith's first ball. The catch he took off Harris, that's better than his catch in Brisbane, I think, for me, because it's catching to his non-dominant hand. And when he's coming, the ball's going around the wicket as a wicketkeeper, bowling into a left-handed, your instinct is to go towards your right-hand side. And he didn't go that far, but you can see his shift of weight transfer. That catch he takes is that for me is as good as it gets as a wicketkeeper. Non-dominant hand, diving to your left from around the wicket, right-handed to a lefty. Fucking absolute screamer. And the poor guy just can't fucking take a trick, as none of these England players can, because next ball he shells one that he probably should have gone with 2 hands, or should have moved his body better. That's all. England techniques, wicket-keeping techniques are different to Australia's. It's odd. Anyway, that's just the thing that happened tonight. I just wanted to give praise because it was one of the best for me, like that's the purest, best wicketkeeper catch you can take. So that was good.
Yeah, good on you.
Hashtag ASKTGC brought to you by Akko Salil Fatak. Wrote in by Patreon Pez, and he said, "How perfect is this from Darwood Milan, AC, or Inter?" And I quote, "We can talk about the guys that fail, but ultimately one of Ruchi or myself should have gone on and got a big 100 there," talking about his runs in the first innings. Salil writes in, "Completely alphaing his teammates under the guise of holding himself responsible while also pretending that he is on par with Joe Root. Thoughts? Hashtag ASKTGC. For me, perfect alpha power play."
Exactly, perfect. Yep, one of the old, an alpha power play disguised as humble apology. Beautiful. People do that all the time. You got to be careful of people who apologise to you. Oh, you think you're powerful enough to have responsibility in this situation? That's interesting. Saying a bit about yourself there, are you? Perfect. And Salil's picked it up. Darwood Milan's essentially saying here there were only two of us that could succeed here, and we didn't. That's the inference. That's the suppressed premise, as they'd say in philosophy. Perfect stuff. He's having a great series. He loves it out here. He plays well in the desert. We respect him. Nothing outside of Australia matters. We don't see it. We don't care about it. Walk tall, Darwood Milan. You can come and play here anytime you want. We like and respect you. Everyone else, get the fuck out, except Root a little bit and Stokes. And Anderson. No. Broad's a competitive. He's a big-hearted competitor. Butley, it's a clean ball. Bairstow, come on the show. Salad, Hasib Hamid. Rory Burns salad, actually.
But apart from that...
Ollie Pope, lovely fella on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you guys tomorrow.